Imagine having all your nakedness exposed. All the skeletons in your closet unburied like the tombs at a mass genocide. Imagine the very foundations of who you are unraveled to be a big fat lie. Caught in your contradictions, inspected on live television. Your insecurities and hypocrisies studied like the philosophies of Socrates. Conundrums unburied, dirty thoughts splattered across the internet. Exposed. All your secret deeds displayed like day, like the sunset in the horizon exposed. Like shooting stars on a dark night exposed. Like a pastor accidentally posting private inappropriate pictures exposed. Imagine your entire life crumbling underneath the weight of observation, scrutiny. Your motives tested, your hopes and dreams and envies and lusts and jealousies surgically dissected. Every little thing you've ever thought said undone, seen for what it really was. Your precious privacy peeled. Your perspectives and paradigms, your private hatred for those who pretend to love. Your backbiting, serpentine, double-tongued words heard by every brother you've ever slain. How your heart burns when you see them rejoice. I wonder whether we would all be able to handle hearing each other's thoughts for a day, to see how it really seemed. If your soul was your smile, would we still think it was nice? If your heart was your face, would you get as many likes? I imagine being seen for how ugly I really am, and I wonder if my mother would still love me, if my girl would still have me, still be happy to hug me. How much of my confidence comes from how I camouflage the version of me that will never be grown? How much of my inner peace comes from my hope that much of myself can never be known? It's scary how a moment of silence can suddenly turn to a war. My worst fear is being caught in a contradiction. Maybe that's why I'm always so defensive, even when there's nothing to fight for. It's hard to keep silent in moments of meaningless accusation, when you feel that the very foundations of yourself are always under question. It's hard to find joy when you're fighting to build perception, despite your own imperfections, constantly trying to convince yourself that you're not as bad as you think, that everyone else makes mistakes, that your guilt is a sign of being human, that the voice that keeps you up at night is just overthinking, that one day everything you've ever said undone will be exposed. But what if I told you that someone sees you, that your heart is not as hidden as you think, that your sense of safety is misplaced, that the voice in your head saying that you're about to be undone is right, that you're actually a fraud, and your guilt and shame is actually a white flag, that you're fighting a war you can never win? And what if I told you that you do not have to imagine? What if I told you that this is not hypothetical but right? Everything you stand for is exposed. For there is not a place where I can go where his eyes cannot find me. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will find me, your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you, and the night will shine like day, for darkness is as bright as light. Before the presence of God I stand exposed. And despite my public prayers, he knows me in my silence. When I saw Adam, I saw myself. I heard his voice in the cool of the garden, calling my name, and I hid. And he sought me, but I was too ashamed, because my sinfulness and shame, I could not stand to be seen. For his eyes would be to me like a fire, and his presence to me like a furnace. And he asks me why I hide. I tell him I hide because I am naked. And he asks me how I knew that I was naked. I tell him that it was a big mistake. And I remember how he told me that if I ever broke my promise to be anything but righteous, death would be the penalty. I look in his eyes and see a great contradiction. For how is it that the righteous judge would be loved? Love the guilty criminal. Instead of fire in his eyes, I saw tears. How would it be that righteousness and peace have kissed? And how would he take a wretch like me and make for himself a son? How he knows all that I have done and sees me, not in my makeup, but he sees me in all the foul and fickleness covered in leaves. He calls me out of my nakedness and shame. He takes me into the garden and he leads me to a place where next to the tree where I first found my shame, I find his son displayed, naked and exposed.